He's out there cleaning up already. He's volunteering to do whatever it is. They help me get.
Yeah, that's a great guy.
He's rolling.
Yeah, he's a great guy, very good.
Yeah.
We can find out about that. I don't know about that.
Okay. Well,
But I can try to.
yes, such an actions meeting.
Call the meeting to order. Please rise for the pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, let's start with the approval of the agenda.
I'll move with the addition of the rec center rate increase for the gym.
Take a big stick. You stand.
Can you put that under new business?
Yeah.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion is second, any discussion? My discussion will be, you need to make sure, remind it again and again, to get this turned in on time. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Approval of the minutes from May 4th. Motion and second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Carried. Next is approval of the consent agenda.
I'll move it, but I want to take out, the fire department correspondence.
I would like to take out the golf course folks advisory minutes from May 5th, please.
So I'd like to move the Oaks Advisory May 5th and the letters from Christina resignation, letter from her to the public, to the board, place those under new business. Or you want to move the fire department one of the unfinished business? Nothing really applies to that. Up to you guys.
Probably new business.
Okay. A motion, and the motion was to move those two items. We have a second.
I'll support it.
Motion is second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Both same sign. Motion is carried. Supervisor's report, a couple of items. First one, got an email shortly after our last board meeting that the revised company that's doing our website is starting the migration process. So hopefully in the next, very shortly, hopefully before the next board meeting, it should be up. As of today, I hadn't gotten an update on that. So it's just a matter of waiting it out. I'm not sure how long that process takes. Once they get finished, we should have our website up. Next up is the cemetery. One of the things, we used to have a sexton in Kinross Township. I'm sure because of age and such, the previous sexton retired. It's been several years. And I'm not asking for one at this moment, but I think it's something we need to explore to see if we need to have this position refilled. It's quite a bit of work on the clerk's part, and the section, be the person who can take care of a lot of that type of work. Also making sure that the barrels, everything gets done. There's a lot of things that go on out there. You think there would be anything going on. It seems like a lot of stuff. And trying to find the right plots and people in the right spots. Having somebody that's responsible specifically for doing that would really come in handy. So something to think about for the future. Another notes on there, they're out there cleaning it up, trying to get it all dusted up before Memorial Day. We're not putting up the vinyl fence that was up there. That fence is extremely old and very brittle. So we're reverting to a chain type thing. So just be one single chain between the posts. So it just kind of blocks everything all off there. That was within the budget that we had for it. So it's kind of that's there, and that'll be up hopefully before Memorial Day. Speaking of Memorial Day, there will be a parade on Saturday, I believe, this Saturday.
Yes.
So make sure that you can attend in there. If there's something you want to get a vehicle or even a four-wheeler or something in there, and go by and meet at the rec center and do that. We'll come out here to Memorial Park and do the speaker. I believe I have a friend. He's trying to get Fred McClendon to speak. I'm not sure if he's accomplished that or not. I think that's where he's going with it.
Is the parade time 10, 10:30?
10:30.
10:30, line up?
So get out there and be part of that. Public comment. Anything regarding the agenda?
Just to give you guys heads up, for the public, I'm your township zoning administrator. I met with the county inspector today on 2 properties. He agrees with me. We're going to look at condemning 2 properties, number 2 and 4, country or shadow living. And out here on M80, just off the base, there's 2 trailers that are both livable. He agreed with me, and I'm going to work with him on the process of condemning both properties. But I just wanted to give you guys the heads up on that. The policy, township has to pay to get them wiped down once approved, but then a lien can get put on the property. But I just wanted to make sure everybody was aware of the process going on. Thank you.
What about houses with broke windows out here, like wide open broke windows?
Both properties have windows
There's
busted.
another house though that's just sitting on Kincheloe with a broke out window.
We're looking at sending the landowner, the 2 landowners, there are 2 brothers on that one, to send them letters and to address that window. It's just a window. The house is pretty clean inside, looking into it, but we're sending them a letter too.
Thank you.
Thanks, Doug. Any other comments? Okay, unfinished business, fire department, been by there, fire hall there, they've got the floor poured. They had their plumbing approval from the state early last week. So they started the pour, got that done, and they're starting the build process. Dave sent me a message. He wasn't going to be able to make it today, but he wanted me to share with you just that we're still working on the framing. They're going to be putting in an electrical disconnect on the building, just in case we ever decide to have a generator for the building down the road. So they're actually installing that as part of the package. Should be moving up. He's anticipating much earlier finish than what we had figured out before.
Good.
Nothing in the Verizon lease on there. 4H as of right now, there's not much in the way of movement. I did get a message from Ben, who's the president of the 4H board, and he wanted to talk about which buildings they would be responsible for insuring versus which ones we have, and that's something we still haven't gotten finalized gone through yet. So we have our bell up on a few, we got to make decisions. My thoughts are basically the ones that we don't use are the ones that they're going to be insuring, so we don't have any action. So. New business. S&J total agreement. You have something?
No.
Okay. Use it?
Yeah.
Got a call last week from Tony at S&J. There was a thing with billing regarding the oil recycling bid that's there. And one of the things that had come out, there was some confusion. At some point in the last couple of years, that they had stopped the public from using that for their oil. And I didn't think twice about it. I thought it was their property. They can do what they want to do. But he called and said, and talked about a bill that was sent to them, that gone to DPW, was back and forth. So I went over and talked to him, and there was an agreement, a handshake agreement, years back, that the township, that they would have that oil tank there for the public to use to put recycled oil. And then it would be paid for out of sewer funds. So what had happened is that the check, or the bill got sent back to Tony at S&J, because the secretary there, the assistant there, didn't know that that's what the process was. It had been done, paid for last year, but didn't done this year. That part we got squared away. But when I was talking to him, he said he never stopped anybody from using it except when it was full. Because we put something in it, it's full, it overflows, we got a problem. So that was the whole process of that. He does not use it. He has another place that he sends his used oil to, so this is strictly for the public. The idea was put in there to keep the oil from being put on the ground or in sewers. So that's why the things are on there. So there's no written agreement that anybody can find. So that's what this is about, and it's just an agreement between S&J and Kinross Charter, just saying that the oil disposal tank located at 16784 Riley, I think, is for Kinross Charter Townships to use to discard all used oil during their business hours. Whereas the agreement, once it's full discarded, the township will pay for the removal expenses for the sewer. This agreement shall commence on the effective date and will remain in place indefinitely until one party elects to terminate. Or the party elects to terminate this agreement any time with or without cause to agree 30 days must be supplied. So this just we have something in writing that's between us. That's all it is. I didn't think we need to do anything more than that, and it's not really a lease either. It's more of just the agreement we have with what's going to happen with that piece that wasn't stuff. So I make a motion that we approve this agreement with them and allow the supervisor to sign it.
I'll support.
Motion to support. We have any discussion?
Yeah. Why is it coming out of sewer funds and not general? If all of the.
Right now, that's where the agreement had stood, and because we were keeping everything out of the sewer, so like a preventative measure, so it came out of their funds. It was, I think the bill was $380.
It was less than 4.
Well, it was under $400 for the year, for their emptying. So it wasn't a large expense in that regard. I was thinking it was going to be thousands of dollars, because that's all it was at all.
Right. So if anybody in Kinross Township can bring in here, then it should be on the water bill papers to take care of that. It's my only insane thought, you know what I mean? So if, that's why I'm asking about the general fund versus that.
Again, this is where that, we want to change it, and this is the opportunity to change that.
I had a question. Is the pump there located on S&J's property?
I believe it is, yeah.
So how do we know that he's not actually filling it?
I guess I have to trust him on that.
Well, shit, I got something to trust me on. Where do we get the funds to fund the new fire hall?
But this is not open for discussion. That's not part of the discussion we're having. This is for us to take care of the business we're talking about right now.
Yeah, all right, let's go back then. Where do we get the funds?
No, we're done. No, I'm talking about this right now. It's not an opportunity for you to speak.
Oh, you just said.
You had an opportunity to talk for public comment about the agenda. After we're done, you have another opportunity to talk about a public comment after we're all done.
So that's my only comment on where it comes from. Only because it's all of Kinross Township can use it. It's not just.
Right. Again, it's something we can change now, or we can change it to the next budget cycle. We want to set that up.
I think
They're paying for it right now.
probably next budget cycle. So
Keep it in mind.
it's on
Okay.
that certain budget. Accessible.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, any other discussion on this? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye, both same sign. Motion carried. Okay, next is a EMS request. I'm not going to say it's coming through through NEMSA, but it's regarding our equipment from Kinross Emergency Services. to have these 3 pieces of equipment posted for sale. One is the 2004 Trout Lake ambulance that we got as part of an agreement with them years back. They don't use it, so this is a piece of equipment that needs to be moved on. Second is a 1997 snowmobile with a rescue bottom and trailer. And then the third was a 2000 double up snowmobile. So we have the starting prices for the ambulance would be $15,000. That was basically what the current value was looked to be. The snowmobile sled was $5,000, and then the snowmobile, 2000 double up snowmobile would be $1,500. So it must be put up on the gov, yeah.
The proceeds go to the township?
This would come back to the ambulance fund.
Okay.
that we'd have.
I was just gonna ask the same thing, that's all. I'll wait my turn.
I'll move that we post that.
Have a motion? Motion is second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion's carried. Next up is golf course hires. I know, I'm looking at it. It's not on my list. A motion to rehire Sandy Bocking, Chris Doherty, Jackson Clark, and Holly Johnson. These all starting at $14?
Sandy's carts, the other 3 are pro shop employees.
So I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Motion is second. Do we have any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion's carried. All right. Now it's rec center rate increase. This, I think that's Sarah do this, she can't talk much, but this is a discussion that they had at their committee. One of the things that they were looking at is trying to balance out the rates for somebody that has a door card. They were paying quite a bit of money for that rate, for that privilege. Basically double what they were paying, or almost double what they were paying to have their membership stuff. So they want to do the reduce the rates. They're changing the rates, they're increasing the rates overall, which is one of the things they're looking at anyway. And then the only thing they're doing as far as the card go is they have a one-time sign free for the card, and just included in the membership fee after that. So the proposed is a $4 for drop-in per day, $3 for seniors. Monthly is $45, $35 for seniors. Quarterly, $100, $70 for seniors. And then yearly is $230, $180 for seniors. Again, with the card that allows them to access 24 hours, it'd be $10 to pay for the card.
It's still cheaper.
What about tribal members?
I'll get to that when we get to discussion. Just hang on. I was actually going to mention that.
It's still cheaper too, than the other fitness centers around.
Right.
That's what Levi said, he's did the info on it.
I'll make the motion and apply those rates.
I'll second.
Motion is second. Do we have any discussion?
What's the reason for the increase?
I think part of it is to cover the cost of what they were charging for the card.
And, Levi said instead of having like 7 different charters, it turns down 3.
Paying $40 just for the cover.
Yeah.
So now, as Robert had asked a question, I will bring it up. I was going to bring it up this discussion anyway. The tribal, in the past, the tribe would pay for tribal members access to the gym, or to to get one of these. And they would get their monthly, or you get whatever they would get, and then they would pay for it. And what the tribe was finding out, that not everybody was using it. It was getting it, paying for it. People weren't using it because we keep track of who uses it. So they sent a letter to the rec center, Levi, said, we're going to put a cap of $2,000 per year on paying for the memberships. So once that cap is exhausted, then there's no more paying for members. That's the answer to that question. So I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Sorry. Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion's carried. Okay, so next we have we'll do the Oaks Advisory May 5th.
Yeah, so your meeting on the 5th, one of the things that came up was the cameras. We have a system in place with, what was on it, Brian, 4 cameras? Yep. And we just added, it had 4 empty ports on the system. We added 4 more cameras to it for right around $500.
Yeah, under, it was like 480.
Something like that. Records for 30 days. This is a system we've had for a while now, right?
Yeah.
And what's it cost us a month? $100?
I think it's 100 right now. If you add more cameras, it might be another 100.
So $200 a month. And I think that pretty much covers us for cameras, right? Except for maybe out at the
Well, yeah, the maintenance
maintenance part.
farm and getting them internet seems to be a priority, but the amount from Charter for the year for the golf course was $7,560, which was more than $2,000 more than any other department. And our committee just felt like for a department that is reliant on general fund money, we didn't think that it was a fiscally responsible decision to maybe burden that department with that type of cost. We're trying to become less reliant on the general fund, and we spent retained earnings to balance our budget this year to try and be less reliant on the funds, the general fund. This seems like it is making us reliant on the general fund, which is kind of defeating some of the goals that the committee has.
Plus, these weren't even in the budget when we did the budget, correct? I think this was after.
That was after we found out, and that's what the retained earnings were used to balance the budget for. So I guess the committee's ask is there a way for the golf course to be excluded in some of this $7,500 per year charter quote or contract that was entered into, and allow us to do some cost saving measures for the golf course and do the camera coverage that's needed with the system that's already there and just expanding it, and then strictly look at whatever it would be to get the maintenance area set up with internet. And then I think that they wanted 1 camera back in the maintenance.
And running internet out there is not gonna be easy.
Right, was the irrigation considered when they?
You know, running a cable out there is not gonna be feasible. We looked at maybe doing a Starlink system, but
My only concern is what it's gonna do to the rest of the cameras for all of the other, because it was a bundle, is it gonna affect everybody else's? So I think really we should probably check to see if it's possible or what it's gonna do to everybody else's budget.
We feel like we should have known, the different budget areas should have known the cost before it was agreed upon to go forward.
Can you come up with the total cost of what your cameras would be and Starlink and all that stuff and putting that all in so that we know how much that
well, we didn't
is?
even The Starlink thing was just discussed, we haven't
Or what
really
kind of
finalized the solution, that's
plan
only
on
for
it?
the maintenance barn. The other cameras are already in place.
Yeah, but you're gonna need it, is what I'm saying, so how much is it gonna cost to do all that stuff? Just get a total of how much that's gonna cost to get Starlink and expand your camera systems and all that. Someone else can check on to see if that's gonna affect the quote, and, you know, so we have all the information.
Well, the other cameras are already in,
I can,
Okay.
so we installed the other 4 already, right?
Yeah.
Because you're saying.
Those are all inside, or did you put one outside,
there's
or 2 outside?
3 outside and 1 in the bar.
Okay, all right, yeah.
See what I'm saying? I'm just
Yeah,
wanting to know
yeah,
what the
no, yeah,
annual overall cost is.
yep, for sure.
Because I think part of the 7,500 is if we take down the cameras that we already have in the pro shop, then, and don't use that, then we don't have camera coverage in the charter quote to do that area. So it would just be more money from charter for us to be able to do that. Unless we're paying both 2 different systems. I mean,
Yeah, no,
I mean, right now, we
I
have
thought
8,
that,
I think we have 8 cameras right now.
I thought the quote included what you, like,
No.
replacing the cameras that you have, so you're gonna get less cameras for the 7,500? Is that what you're saying?
well, we would still have to pay for the cameras we
Yeah, I
have
think-
there to cover the pro shop area.
7,500 was only 6 cameras.
And we have 8 now.
So the way I see this is that you guys need to make a decision what you need. If you don't want to phone out to the maintenance area, that's part of what the internet was gonna do. That's what this runs off of the internet cables. As far as the system goes, they're gonna go underground, so they're gonna have to mark off of the drainage things are, we can find them.
Yeah, they're plastic, so.
Do the best they can do there, and then we have to repair it as we go. If that, so that hopefully it doesn't, but we're still gonna go underground with it, and that's where the problem's gonna come into. They said they can handle it, so that's was all part of it. Installation was part of the cost. So, but they haven't come out to talk to us yet for that area, so that's what we're waiting on there. But if you decide that you don't really need a phone out there, then we don't need internet out there, we don't need, maybe you get a different camera system. But I need to know that because I gotta let them know this is an area we're gonna cut this out, or what we're cutting out. So I need to know that before I can go back and talk to them and say, we need to cut these parts out. So, the cameras, I can talk about the cameras, I'm not sure how that affects the bundle we had. I mean, our bundle was given to us based on the numbers we provided, so. If I can get all that stuff there, then I can follow up on that with Spectrum, and I know what it is you want or don't want. So if you want the internet out there, then
I would raise the question to them about just omitting and see how that affects everything. Because right now, the only thing we're really concerned with is the maintenance barn area.
And I think all they wanted up there was internet, so that when they needed to buy computer parts, they didn't have to come up to the pro shop and use our computer.
And, you know, I think there's less expensive options out there for that, but just see what it affects. I mean, we're just kind of throwing it out there, you know, so.
I'll move that we table it till the next one and get a little bit more information.
Sounds good.
motion to table, discussion. All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye, opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Okay, next up is a letter from Christina Noble. Going to the township board, just send a notice to the clerk and to the board.
Should be, sorry. The other one, 3853, full.
No, just the main one.
I'll just make it.
So I pulled them because, first off, I'm sad to see him resign. And also with the letter to the public about department issues and everything, feel like we need to do some type of department review or something to see what's actually going on. That's why I pulled it.
Yeah, you know, I put in my resignation because, good guy that first base I ever met when I joined the fire department, Pat man, he told me that he quit because it's not fun anymore. And, you know, we see all kinds of things that the general public doesn't see. We go out and do all kinds of things to put our life on that line first. And we aren't training anymore. We aren't doing all of the things on the flip side to make it fun anymore. When I started the fire department, we had 8, 10, 12, 15 people show up for calls, for trainings, just to hang out after the fact and have fun. Now we're lucky if we get 4 or 5 people to show up to a call. Sometimes I showed up to a brush fire, I don't know, 4 weeks ago, and the equipment wasn't even ready to roll. And that could have been really bad had it been a structure fire or somebody's life had been on the line. So little things like that matter, even in hindsight, if people don't think they do, they do. And we've talked to the chief, not just me, but other department members have said like, hey, let's change things. How can we do things different? How can we support you? And things don't change. And it's just, we need to change something. And I can't do it by myself, and I don't want to be a part of the situation when something turns south and something goes bad and we can't fix it any longer. And I'm not the only one. I have other department members who are also in agreement that it's not even that he's a bad person. I think he's a great person. I think he doesn't have the time to be the chief. And I think his love and passion for firefighting is just not there anymore. And that's okay, because some people don't have it forever. But take accountability for that and own it, that it's okay that it's not there forever. Nobody expects it to be there forever.
Can I speak to that?
The stuff being not ready, is some of that attributed to the fact that we're in a temporary,
No,
not
because-
so convenient spot?
No, all of the equipment we need to be ready for a fire is at that station.
I'm not just asking.
Yeah, no, everything we have access to that we need to take to a fire is in that building. It just wasn't put together on the proper truck that it needed to be on.
Can I speak to that? Most of you know who I am. I would refuse a resignation because she's too good of a person to live. She's an excellent fireman. She's got the training, and we don't have enough of them. I think that the chief and supervisor and her and maybe a couple other firemen and maybe other board members, another board member or two should sit in and hash this out. Granted, he works a lot of hours. And we got another board member on this that works a lot of hours, and he don't show up. I don't, personally, if I couldn't do the job, I wouldn't do the job. I would resign. I don't, and if it's about the money, I don't know why. He should make enough over there that the money shouldn't be a problem. I would love to see him stay on as a fireman, but he's not doing the job as a chief. There ain't no way in heck he's doing the job as a chief. I would love to see him stay on as a fireman, but I think we need someone to step up and do the chief. Even if it's some retired guy that's got the fire experience and maybe even knows how to run a business to step up and do the job. Yeah, I love him. I will too. I mean, he'd be excellent. He has the fire training. He's been a fireman for a long time, and I've never mentioned it to him. But we need someone to step up, and we are building a fire hall, and I would like to see someone that takes over that does it, and that's responsible enough to. We gotta build it, it's gotta be paid down. Do not think, well, we gotta have this and we gotta have that. We got enough stuff to run a fire department. All we need in our budget is to pay the bill down and pay the wages of the ones that get a wage and, pay for the fuel for the trucks and any maintenance, and other than stuff, we don't need any money. And that's unused to stand there and say, you don't need new gear, you don't need new air packs, you don't need this. You need to do your, cut that bill up. Because as far as taxes, I gotta pay the taxes. I don't like paying for the rec center. I don't like paying for the ambulance thing. But I do pay it. And I pay a big chunk because I have a big chunk of property. I do realize that. But it hurts me every time I write that check.
Can I say something on that too?
Are you part of the fire department?
I'm speaking of part of it. Part of the comment that was already made, dragging it out a little farther.
Does this got to do with the payment of the firewall? Does this got to do with what specifically we're talking about?
What we're talking about.
Okay.
All right.
Please.
I had a fire at my house, last week. It took, 15 minutes from the second call for them to show up. Then it took another 15 minutes for them to turn on the water. The piece of equipment that was on fire was close enough to my house where it could have caught the whole thing on fire. As she said, all the equipment's already inside the building and it's all able to grab. I'm getting hit by the DEQ full of oil and everything soaking down the driveway because they let it burn long enough for the whole thing to start blowing up. My question is the fire department going to be able to reimburse the DEQ for the payment that they're supposed to ship, that they want shipped out? Under the fire department, they're supposed to have protocols for vehicle fires with leaking oil and gas and diesel fuel and everything. Supposed to have seep socks and everything there to keep it from flowing down the drains and everything. There wasn't. So now I'm the one getting fined because the fire department wasn't able to do their job to the best of, I'm guessing, the knowledge that was on staff. Because I feel like we have 2 firefighters that we pay to work night shift. I'm guessing them 2 firefighters are the most trained and qualified for the job, because the only 2 we pay. I don't see why we'd have 2 qualified firefighters on the same shift and not split up.
Which ones are you talking about? I've been on for 50 years, and I have never been paid to be on call.
Not on call, I mean, full-term or full-time firefighters.
We don't have-
They're all volunteers, they're all volunteers, besides the chief.
When your page went off, I was out home by the time, and I do not like what the fire hall is because it adds 10 minutes to our call. We got, and once we get opened up here, it'll be a lot better. It was a lot better with EDC. It adds extra time driving down there, driving through the gate and all that. It's a pain. And our gear, I'm hanging there, we gotta pull our gear out of a bag and try to get our gear up. It's not a good situation now, and the sooner we get that building up, the much quicker we can respond. Now, when I got to this, I came with the second truck. There was 2 other people there.
Yeah.
I wasn't on the response. I hear they had a problem. And that's because of lack of training.
I mean, if you can admit that right there, that
Yeah.
just shows, you know?
It is.
My problem is that I'm the one getting fined for all the fluids leaking down the driveway when it should have been protocols under that. And I want to know.
I don't think there was that much fuel going. I was out that way. I didn't see a problem with that.
There was a lot, I mean,
All right, I understand. We get it. And those things are stuff that we are working on. We'll talk to the fire chief a little bit about it. See what we can do better for the next time.
just a question was, am I gonna be reimbursed for this, fine by the fire department or the township or something?
Well, one thing we learned, that is not an emergency. That is causing the emergency, we try to put it up. And what happens. We're a volunteer thing.
No, I understand
Yeah.
that.
All right.
There's protocols for the.
We'll work on it, Robert. We can bring us up to a different point into the office.
Oh, by the way.
Join the fire department.
Yeah, join the fire department, we can use the extra people.
I'm not much of a firefighter, I appreciate it, I really would though.
All right,
You've got lots of work for you to do that, you just join, do the training, and you'll learn to like.
all right, Harvey. Got it.
I mean, I am recruiting, there's a lot of young guys in here that can join the fire department.
We're working on a different subject at the moment, but I appreciate it. Yes, sir.
My name is Sergeant Holiday. Some people in here that know me as Doc. Doc Holiday just kind of works. Been a firefighter for 14 years. Was up here at one point from 2012 to 16. Came back recently about a year and a half ago. I've known Chief Bensel for a long time personally and as a firefighter. Came back up this year, he made me sergeant. He and I have hashed it out more than a couple times on the way that things have been going with the department. I feel he does want to be there. I've been in his office numerous amounts of times where he gets excited about the new building. He gets excited about the fact that we do have to get new gear because we have some firefighters that their gear is going to expire in less than a year, which I don't know how much you guys know about that. Once that gear is expired, that gear is not allowed to touch flame. You cannot go into a building. You cannot go too close to a car fire. You cannot put on an air pack. Because then if you were to get hurt, the township and the fire department are allowed at that point. Because that gear is expired, cannot be used. I do agree that he's been getting his ass kicked in the days. I believe the passion's still there. She knows more than anything. She has been great with reports. She does a shit ton of paperwork. Again, she was his second-hand man on this department the entire time. No questions asked. I don't want to see her go either. I have talked this girl up numerous times to her in person, whether it be fire or EMS. She is a valuable asset, absolutely. So I agree with Harvey. If there's any way that the chief, other members can sit down and try to hash this out, figure out a plan going forward, I think it'd be best for the entire department. Harvey's also right. We got to try to find a way to do some recruiting. I do 48 to 72 hours on either ambulance or a fire truck. I'm also a hunting and fishing guide for kids and veterans. I don't get to be in the area a lot from like June to September. I try, but bottom line is we're excited for the fire department. We're excited for the building. We need some help and we got to figure out a plan going forward.
Thank you.
When I saw the letters in the board packet, I picked up a phone call and called Brian and said, "What's up?" You know, we had a pretty long conversation. He had said that at that time, nobody from the board or anything had a conversation with him about the things that were in the packet. And I just want to make sure that as a department head, he does get that opportunity to be able to share his side of the story. I know that Shiloh's here because he's at work mandated. He does have some things to share. He's not like, there's no like ill intent or anything like that, but there is his side of the story that, you know, the board and Mark, or the supervisor, owes him to sit down to be able to discuss it.
I will mention right now, I've had to sit down with him on a couple different occasions. I've talked to him specifically and about some of these things. When I asked him about this particular situation, he basically said, she's just a complainer, and so are the other ones. That's what he specifically told me.
Okay.
And he also told me, because I told him he needed to be at this board meeting to be represented. And he specifically said, I'm not going to be there, I will probably be mandated. I accept the fine. I'm just telling you, I'm just asking you to be there, that's all I'm asking you. And he told me specifically, I will not resign, you'll have to fire me. That was specifically told to me. Now, I understand Brian's concern. I mean, I'm trying to work with Brian on this to get this thing done. But there's just, this is something that seems to have been building, and it's trying to sit down and take care of those things. Trying to get Brian to sit down to do most anything is hard because he's working all the time. So it's very difficult. So that's, I just want to know, I have talked to him about this. It has been discussed, not just about Christina. In fact, he bragged her up quite a bit the first time I talked to her. And then this last time, it was just about she's complaining along as well as some other people that were complaining. And they said he basically blew out as if they were complaining. So they didn't like the way he was doing things. That's what it was, what the impression I got. So, Gus?
I do have handed in my resignation, but they asked me to stay because we are short-handed. And
What did you say?
Or they wanted to stay, but I decided to stay. For some of us, up to the sheet, all the way to their probies that are there now, It is hard for all of us to be at the same time, at the same fire. But those who could go are there. Now, there's so much on the plate right now that I wish we would have come together. And you know Brian Bensel's days off. If you don't, we can make sure you get them. And we should, because this should be an in-house thing, not here in public. Because if that doesn't work in-house, then it comes to the public and then you gotta do what you gotta do. But I honestly believe that that's the reason we've kicked the can so far down the road. I've been here with so many sheets, I've been here with so many boards. When we moved our stuff over there, as soon as I got in there, I got sick. I got sick. But you know what? I can deal with it because I finally see progress. There is hope. We got something coming, okay? And then, but right now, we don't feel like a family, but we need to sit down. We're gonna have a new home. That's gonna bring the family together. But again, Brian Bensel's not here, not by choice, but because he's mandated. The job is sucking this out of him, just as some of the other people that have to be, they have to be there. Now, I know that you got Mensa, you're gonna be in front of Mensa. That's gonna suck. Her in there too. So again, we cannot falter if she's gonna be at the place. I'm excited, man. It's in my heart, man. This is my heart. This is my heart. All I want is, again, for one opportunity where we can sit down. I know that the handful of members are gonna be there with you, Supervisor, and with Brian Bensel. Again, this should be an in-house thing, and then if that can be resolved, then it is up to you individuals to do what you gotta do.
Anyone else would like to add to the conversation?
Just so everyone knows, I've spent 2 months meeting with Mark, talking to Benzel, talking with members of my fire department to come to a solution before I came to the board. This wasn't just I'm gonna come to the board because we can't figure it out kind of thing. I let Mark figure it out, and Mark even asked me to not take it to the board and let's figure it out. He gave Benzel chances, we've talked to him, we've done all of these things. So this wasn't just an out of spite, I'm coming to the board to put it in the public eye. I spent the last 2 months trying to make changes behind the scenes where it didn't have to be such a big deal. Because at the end of the day, it's about the training. It's not even about the fun and all of the things. It's about being ready for that next call because your kids could be stuck in that house fire and nobody could show up. And then where does that leave us? We're gonna have this beautiful building with 4 firefighters left in it because nobody wants to work under his leadership. And again, I get he's busy and I agree with Gus. He can't be here because of his job. But we also can't change that. I've worked 80 hours the last 2 weeks, and before I turned in that resignation letter, I made 5 fires. I was able to leave my preschool teaching job or my ambulance position to go and fight those fires because nobody else is able to show up. So I made that time. I am lucky to have those bosses that give me those opportunities. And I understand he doesn't have that. But at some point, he needs to say, okay, I can't change that right now, so I'm gonna step down for a while. And his words were, they need to fire me, I'm not leaving. Which means he's fully aware that he can't uphold those standards right now. And again, it's fine, we all get busy in life, but at some point we need to take accountability for those things.
I agree.
My question is does anybody know the chief's responsibilities?
I do, Bob, we both did that.
Main responsibility is being able to be there.
Training your firefighters to be good ones and
Yep.
safe ones.
Can't take on something this important and not be able to be there. Nothing against them.
Okay, I've got a comment for that. Our training schedule is posted on the chief's office door. It was the entire time we were in that other building. If he was not able to be at a training, and every one of our officers knew that, the chief does not have to be the one that runs the training. Those trainings are posted. Most of us that are here that are officers and firefighters know those trainings or can pull them up. A lot of our trainings, believe it or not, in the fire service, some of them are done right off YouTube. Other bigger city departments will post those exact trainings we do. We can watch that video and then implement it on the fire ground or outside. We do those. I have been to numerous trainings that were led by Mr. Huntley because Chief Counsel was not able to be there. We did an awesome drafting training that I had never done, and I've been on big city departments. I never got to do that there. He taught me something new that day, which was absolutely awesome. I hope we could use it someplace. But we know those training schedules that are expected of us at each month. It doesn't help when sometimes we have 2 to 3 people show up. How are we supposed to train an entire fire department when there's no accountability for not showing up? Whether you're the chief or not.
Say we just watch the whole
Okay.
thing, run in right there.
So I pulled it because I figured we could do like a department review type thing to see what was going on, like Gus said. That's why I basically pulled these letters. That's what I was gonna propose. I don't know, if that's what you guys feel.
Maybe the board members could go to one of their monthly meetings and sit in and have a open discussion.
Well, I went to me and you met for the fundraising thing, it was me, you, and him. And that was the only people that showed up.
Which is a very common trend. And I do agree with Josh. All the meetings are, all the trainings are posted. And Brian Huntley has held some great trainings when he is asked to do so. But again, it's on the chief to organize a person being there when he cannot be there. Because we used to have a training officer, and when he left, there was nobody qualified to step up and do it.
I'm gonna make the recommendation that myself, hopefully another board member, will meet with Brian and sit down and basically just go over his job duties to see where he has some areas he may need some assistance in, or to see if he's completing the duties as he's required. I have the duties right here in front of me. And if he needs help in those areas, see how we get that help for him and see what we can do from there. At this point, because it's not fair to Brian because he's not here. And I don't think it's something that we're talking about a personnel decision that is fully discussed in an open forum. Let's go closed session to discuss that. But I want to do this part first, but I'd like at least one of the board members to help me with that. So when we got to work around his schedule, so that's what part of the issue is going to come into play.
Well, I'll be able to call in aid once summer hits. So, but it won't be until after school's over.
There's a couple things that I see with that. So, I mean, that's the direction I want to add. There's a couple things that I see. One, the man is got a lot of stress going on with the job. And being fire chief, he's got a lot of responsibilities. Now, if he's unable to do those, then we need to figure out what we need to do to correct that situation, whatever that may be. But he has to be given a chance to go over and say, okay, this is what you're supposed to be doing. Show me the evidence you've done. And we can go from that point forward, which is I've tried to do in the past. Not a problem to sit down and try to do it again. But the other thing that I have an issue with is that we have lost a lot of firefighters. A lot of people have stopped coming to the fire hall. And to me, we have to ask the question, why? What's behind that movement? I mean, I've been here for 40 years, and I have not seen it this bad in the numbers. There's always been 15, 20, 25 people that have been available, and you get 8, 9, 10 people to show up to a fire. Right now, you're getting 3, 4, and some of them have issues with training. That much I know there's some issues with training. They're not trained firefighters. They haven't gone through the trainers. So there's some things that need to be looked at there and how we deal with it. Well, that's not necessarily, if Brian's working towards that, but they're not following through, that becomes an issue with volunteer. So those things have to be looked at as well. So that's the point is we have to give him a chance to answer these questions. And, are we getting this accomplished and what do we need to get it accomplished? So, because I know Christina has come to me and said there's a lot of stuff that she was doing that she's not doing now. And I followed up and I looked and there's reports that aren't getting submitted. He's required to submit. For whatever reason, they weren't getting done. There's a new system they have. He hasn't even set it up yet. So those are things that have to be looked at. How do we get this done and taken care of? Because it will affect us getting money for the fire department in the future. So there's a lot of stuff that's going on. How is he recording training? Can you show us all the training records from the past year or 2 years? So those are things that we have to look at. So at this point, this is what I'd like to see done. And then if something we have to work different, then we have to take it in a different direction. The direction I want to see it. then specifically taking action to that. If I have something to help, we can work with Brian that's coming up. I don't know if anybody else has got any thoughts on it. Okay, so my first order of business in that regard, though, is I want to make a motion to deny the resignation of firefighter Christina Noble. We can't lose another one.
Don't quit.
So, that's my motion.
Gear bag was already removed from the truck and stripped of personal belongings.
Say it again?
Gear bag was already stripped from the truck and removed of personal belongings.
She's already done all that?
No, it was done by the chief.
No, it wasn't. Her bag set off to the side
It's
with all of her
removed.
stuff in it.
No, it isn't. I was asked to hand it back to her.
My motion stands.
I'll support.
I think you're still at fire hall.
Thanks.
Use my gear if you can't find it.
A motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Sorry, Christina, I didn't get away that easy.
Take out of the chief.
Again, my goal is to work with it and try to work with Brian to make sure he's got what he needs to accomplish his position, to accomplish the job, and it's hard. We'll go from that point forward. Public comment? Bill?
It seemed like small payments compared to the last $10 or so, which is extremely important and by the state. The current situation with our newsletter being mailed with the water bills sucks, and that's being very polite, because I didn't get mine until the 9th. Well, I rely on that calendar. It goes on my fridge. We pencil in notes. I'm not going to put a calendar on my phone and pull it out to check and see what's going on. 9 days of the month were evaporated and gone. So anything that would be out of the ordinary that was on there, sorry, I'm not there. If you want me to be involved in anything, not that I do much that's important anyway, if I want to go to something, I need to know about it. Unfortunately, I'm way too old and too furry to be a fireman. That'd be a detriment in a fire.
Harvey does
I
it.
was gonna say.
How old are you? When you hit over 85, let me know.
The other issue, I had no awareness of the oil dump at S&J. That's good to know because I've got lots of used oil.
Well, there was the common thought, at least what we knew in the office, was that they closed it down, we weren't allowed to use it.
Well,
So that was 2 years ago that happened.
yeah,
So, but none of us followed up on it, and they said, and then to find out it was a handshake deal to begin with.
Yeah.
So that's why we were kind of,
sometimes
it'll
those
be
are actually fun.
in the next newsletter to make sure that you
Yeah.
know.
Oh, yeah. When I get on the
Yeah.
ninth. And the other issue connected to that, that's just waste oil. I've got almost right at 4 gallons of rotten gasoline. What do I do with that?
There is hazard waste collection. I think there's a couple of days over the summer.
Fire training.
Yeah, well, that's normally what I would do. I'd start a fire and just
Take it over.
feed it in. Give me a training session.
Most of the time that there's a fire, there's a hazard waste collection. And the other thing is that you have to pay for it to be taken. So once in a while, I think Bay Mills once in a while will do a free one.
You have to schedule a
But
date.
you have to schedule it and they'll take the stuff.
So I don't want to hear, this is the 5 gallon open lid bucket. Needs to be dealt with.
Fire training, those guys need a hazard.
That's what I
training.
said, they need a little fire training. That's kind of a fire maybe.
Anything else, sir? Any other comments? Masters then.
I know I'm not privy to the situation with the fire department, and this, my comment could go for any department head that works for this township. I used to work for this township as a department head. it's unfortunate that it came to this situation. And I put that on you 6, yeah, okay, there. You guys, and you said you did, but you guys should be having the conversation. It is Christina's right to stay on, resign, have grievances with the people that she works for. That is why we live in America right there. But to air it out in this public meeting, and I apologize to this gentleman, I thought this was an event, so I'm sitting from. So I apologize to you, and I thought I was here, but I get that he works a lot, and I'm not, this could be any department head in this township, that if one of their employees has an issue with them, and this is the outcome, that's very unfortunate. I manage people, and I would hate to have to go to a city commission meeting and hear all the bad stuff I'm doing, so.
Well, we'd like to know what you're doing, instead of paying for it, you know what I mean?
I don't work in this township, so.
No, that's what I'm saying, that's your response.
But I just wish you guys could talk to all of your department heads, and like I said, it's, anybody that works for anybody has the right to keep working or go home. So, no matter what, if they like it or not. So, I just wish the situation would have been a little different this evening. And that could go, like I said, for any department head in this township.
Any other comments? Board member comments, Bob? Oh,
Mark, I really look like him that much.
From the back. It was in black socks, I'm sorry.
when I walked in the office the other day, I seen you from the back, and I saw him sitting there with a shirt. No, he doesn't.
And I still call him hot.
Up.
Yeah. We're way through. Since cameras were brought up over there, what about the cameras for the fire hall, the new one? Are those gonna be in before drywall and all that stuff? No?
I can't get him in here yet. That's what we're waiting on. I've got a contact and tell them they're gonna put the walls up, and that's up to them. They're gonna run some cable for us.
I was just thinking it'd be nice to get that in there.
He's running some cable already for us in there. So that'll be set up now.
Okay, that's kind of where it's going.
They'll help a little bit.
All right. And then, it is unfortunate, the whole, on both sides. I wish he was here tonight. I mean, we could have, but also I'm kind of glad he's not, so we can have that discussion outside of here, instead of up here, in front of everybody. Figure out what's going on. Training, obviously that's, it's an important thing. I can't just run and fly. But hopefully we can get to the bottom of it. We have a good, just a good meeting overall. Figure out what's going on.
Sir? Loretta?
Just really hope you give us another chance to work things out. Not to leave yet.
Sure.
Just hope we can get it all sorted out. There's nothing more issues.
Matt?
They pretty well covered it. I'm a little disappointed I didn't know any of this was even going on. I mean, Mark had said he had talked to Brian a couple times, but none of us knew any of this was even happening. So a little more transparency would be nice.
Well,
But,
the resignation between wasn't prepared for that.
well, yeah, but I mean, prior to.
Well, and finish what I was trying to do.
Okay, but some transparency would be nice. But other than that, that's all. Thanks for all you do.
We'll be
Yeah.
continuing to
And
do.
hopefully continue to do, Mark, all, not just Christina, but all of you guys on volunteers.
Bobby doesn't know, so yeah.
That's the first thing I said.
In here, you said something about getting a license, like, is it like a certified license or like a?
Brian got his certified food manager license, but we have submitted the plan review application and standard operating procedures to the Chippewa County Health Department so that we can expand offerings of food at the golf course with the equipment that we have. We understand that we need to make money before we can reinvest into, expanding some of the options that we would like to, but it's in the works. Lots of things. Yeah, he'll be there next weekend for an event, the following weekend, not next weekend, the 30th, then the 6th and the 7th.
Tomorrow's supposed to be the Duke's Lake cleanup, isn't it, from 4 to 6? But it's supposed to rain, I see again, so I don't know if it's gonna happen. There's that.
Nothing else for the board?